Kid by Stephen King is about two older newspaper men who work on their own newspaper in a small island town in Maine. And they use the mysterious story of the Colorado Kid to train their intern, Stephanie, and see what she's got under the hood in that brain for writing news stories, and also teaching her how to handle mystery stories in the news. And that is basically all it's about. So it feels like I reviewed a Stephen King book not really all that long ago, but I'm going to review another one because the TV show Haven, which is loosely based on the Colorado Kid, its 5th season is airing this week. And so I thought I would review the book and kind of later on in my Books to Film, or I guess Books to TV, tell you about my thoughts on seasons 1 through 4. So maybe you might want to catch up and watch the show. So basically, I really enjoyed reading The Colorado Kid. What's cool about it is if you kind of want to get into Stephen King and get into sort of his writing, but aren't really into some of his horror novels, this is a mystery. Yes, he writes other things other than horror. A lot of people surprisingly don't know this. This is a mystery, and it's not sort of the traditional mystery wherein like a murder happens and the characters have to solve it. It's definitely more of, like I said in the summary, they're kind of using the story of the Colorado Kid's death to train their intern. So it's a little bit different, but it's still kind of mysterious and fun to read. What I think is the jewel, or just the treasure of this little novella, is the characters. It really does just focus on the 3 characters, and you really get to get a feel for what their everyday workplace kind of vibe is and how they kind of see humor in some of their less, exciting news assignments, and because they live in a small town. And also you get a cool kind of look at what maybe island life is like and what kind of vibe the town has through their eyes, which is excellent. And I loved seeing a lot of the banter between the characters, and it's very witty in that way. It kind of reads like a short story that's longer. It's like a long short story. It's not really like a short novel. It's like a long short story. So it reads sort of like that, and so it's kind of, I don't know, it's just something nice and fun to read. It's maybe not my favorite Stephen King book, but it definitely entertained me and was worth reading. It does sort of have an ambiguous ending, because King loves his ambiguous endings. But this one actually made a whole lot of sense. So I liked how it ended, but maybe other people won't, but I do enjoy a good ambiguous ending. And I also love that word. Can you tell? It's just a real quick, fun read, and you'll enjoy the little banter of the characters. So give it a try. There is something, isn't there? She said. Some story you didn't tell him. What is it? Again, that look passed between them, and this time she couldn't come even close to reading the thought that went with it. They were sitting in identical lawn chairs, Stephanie with her hands on the arms of hers. Now Dave reached over and patted one of them. We don't mind telling you, do we, Vince? Nah, I guess not, Vince said. And once again those wrinkles appeared as he smiled up into the sun. But if you want to ride the ferry, you have to bring tea for the tiller man. Have you ever heard that one? Somewhere. Okay, Dave said. Then answer the question. Hanratty didn't want those stories because they've been written to rags. Why have they been? She thought about it, and once again they let her. Once again took pleasure in watching her do it. Well, Well, Stephanie said, at last, I suppose people like stories that are good for a shiver or two on a winter night, especially if the lights are on and the fire's nice and warm. Stories about, you know, the unknown. How many unknown things per story, dear? Vince Teague asked. His voice was soft, but his eyes were sharp. She opened her mouth to say as many as 6, thinking about the church picnic poisoner, then closed it again. 6 people had died that day on the shores of Tashmore Lake, but one whopper dose of poison had killed them all, and she guessed that just one hand had administered it. She didn't know how many coast lights there had been, but had no doubt that folks thought of it as a single phenomenon. So, 1? She said, feeling like a contestant in the final Jeopardy round. 1 unknown thing per story? Vince pointed his finger at her, smiling more widely than ever, and Stephanie relaxed. This wasn't real school, and these 2 men wouldn't like her any less if she flubbed an answer. But she had come to want to please them in a way she had only wanted to please the very best of her high school and college teachers. The ones who were fierce in their commitments. So that's it for the book review today. I'm going to be posting my thoughts on the TV show based on this book, Haven, tomorrow. I'm filming this on Tuesday. The show airs on Thursday, and my video will be up on Friday, so I won't be able to talk much about what my thoughts on Season 5 are, obviously, but I can tell you what I think of 1 through 4, right? Exactly. So, I will be around tomorrow to greet you with that, and until then, I will say goodbye.